In this video, I'm going to show you how to navigate Midjourney and Discord. We use the Discord app to interact with the Midjourney bot. And here is the Midjourney website, the app, and I will be showing you the example of navigating around with this picture here. So first you would you get your Discord app and log in, and then you go to the Midjourney website, like midjourney.com, and then you log into the app. Then you'll be able to see what I'm seeing here, except in your account. And here you can see we have upscales selected. So they're only the images that I've upscaled recently. We can also search and limit it down to specific images. Pyramid, for example. Look for pyramid in the prompt, and then only those will show up. Okay, so the reason these are here is because the prompt has in the description it actually says pyramid. Okay, and there's a bunch of different variations. Now we'll switch to grids, but we'll take away that, so it's just going to be anything. So grids, that's like usually when you have 4 each time. It's each time you generate, although here you can see 2. That's because of the aspect ratio. No, it's still 4. Right, it's still giving 4 options. Okay, so those are grids, and then when you upscale the ones that you like or that you want to do something with, then you're limiting, you're creating upscales, right? Like a larger version of it with more details, and then you can filter down to those here. So that's the first thing. And then if you want to download them, you click on this button up here, select mode, and you can also clear that. When you have some selected, you'll be able to clear it to start again. And you can click on them individually like that, or you can even just click and drag like this. If that doesn't work, then just click individually first, and then you can click and drag, which will make it easier like this. So I'm just clicking and dragging to select multiple of them at once. There's 15 there though. I don't actually want to download all those. Here I'll just do it as an example though for you. So I'll just download like these 4. So then you click open downloader, and then you click this button right here, download all. That's all you have to do, and then a zip file will download. That's going to happen automatically. Yep. And then you would then open up that zip, right? Unzip it. See, now we can clear these if we want, or you can leave it selected for next time when you go there, because then you'll know which ones you already downloaded if it was still selected. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to look at is in the Discord app. So yeah, in Discord, you don't go into a Discord server. You go to the you scroll up on this first bar at the left. You scroll all the way to the top, go to the direct messages, and with the Midjourney bot. And that's where you create the art, and it's just a conversation with the bot. Okay, so now you can use this here or in the browser. I'm going to go to the browser because over here I would have to scroll up a long way to get to the one that I'm going to show you. So here we're just going to go directly to that one here. So this thing here with this link, you can't use that link because it's this is inside my private, as it said here, right? It's my direct messages with the Midjourney bot. You can create your own server though and bring the bot in, and you should be able to do that and have multiple people in there if you want to collaborate on stuff. But here, this is just my direct message with the Midjourney bot. So that link there, that part of it is like my direct message conversation, and then this is the link to the specific post. So to get that, here we're on that post, and this would look the same if you were inside your Discord app, like desktop application like this. So you would just click right here and then go copy message link, and then you can put that into the browser, or you can keep a copy of that in a note, like in a note or in a spreadsheet, in order for curation to go back to it. Or of course you can just click the heart on the thing. You can just go like this if you want, and then when you go to your own favorites, it will show up. But the thing is that if it doesn't respond quickly, then you'd have to wait. But there you can see that it did show up right away. So we'll go back to everything. So new is just the latest stuff. Okay, so you can do that. Right, so I put that link in and there we are. Sometimes it will be like slightly off, but not very far off. So that's how you do that. Copy message link. You can open that link in a browser. I just showed you that. That's why we're there. So I've already done that earlier, and here we're on this one. This is an upscale, okay? And notice we have different options we can do with this, like make variations and vary them more. So I believe that's like having a higher chaos factor, because it will vary more from where it is. And also in the grid, the 4 that you get, they will vary from each other more. And subtle variations are when you're getting closer to the result, so you don't want to change it so much. Like if you put that in the context of what we're doing, see, at first go wide, so it's like exploring, and you're making lots of possibilities. You're exploring, that's like this. It's a wide, it's not a deep family tree. It just goes wide and makes more different possibilities. To learn more about that, check out the video where I introduce deep, like wide focus and deep focus. So once you find one that you want to develop, then you would go deep. That's when you are focusing on something. You have a purpose or an intention, you're making more iterations, you create more generations, like if you think of it as a family tree. So I sketched out 2 family trees showing the difference. So here in deep, you're picking the best one or the closest to the ideal, and then making more variations of it, and so on. And you can see that over time I started to make more variations of certain ones. See, like 4 instead of just 3. Making more, picking one of them, and continuing to do that process, and not really going wide, because I'm not making variations of a whole bunch of different ones. I'm just picking the best or the closest to an ideal, and then that's the closest, right? And continue to iterate the same thing, where you make variations of it, or you steer it, like you do a variation but you also do a remix, meaning you change the prompt at the same time to steer it in a certain direction. And so then you end up with a deep family tree shape like that. Okay. Right. So yeah, so at the beginning you would be using strong variations because you're exploring more of the space, because you don't know if you're close to the ideal yet. And when you get close to the end, when it's already good and you just want to make minor adjustments, then you would use subtle variations. Here I experimented with zooming out, and you can also pan around, so like pan down, you'll see it will fill in, it will leave the top the same, like what's here, and then it will imagine below this and give different examples. So you can pan in different directions, and also there's the web button there, and also for curation, right, you can favorite certain ones. Okay, so here's another one. These both could have been variations like from the same grid, because it says image 4 there, and that one says, well, it says image 4 too, so it's probably from a different grid. Okay, so when you click the web button, then you will see this on the website, which is basically like this. That's what it is. So that's in your Midjourney app, right? Like on your profile. It's just a page for that specific job. So then you can just click on the image to look at it closer, and you can see the prompt here, and you can click on this ... ellipsis options thing, and you click copy full command. So if you do that, then you'll get the prompt and the arguments, whatever arguments are down here, like chaos and stylize, seed, and things like that, etc., including the image prompt that was included. So this is based on a photo as well as a text prompt, and it's showing the parent here. So we can click that, and then you'll see, well, this was upscale of 4 there. Okay, so 1 is the upper left, then there's 2, just the same way of reading a book in English. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's upscale of 4. Now the thing is, it also, for some reason on the website, it doesn't keep showing you parent. It won't just show you all the way up. But if you look at it the other way, like in Discord, which here we're using it in the browser, but it's the same. You can do that in the desktop app or in the browser. So that's what I'm showing you. So another thing we can do from here, remember, web takes you to a page dedicated to that one, and this is the parent of it. If we click this, we're also clicking the parent. So it's this whole line up here. It doesn't matter if you click the links, it's just going to take you to the parent. So we just click this thing and we're back there. See, that's the parent. It's the same one. Okay, it doesn't have a link to web, see, because it's a grid. So you have to like upscale something to get that link, and that's what I had done, right? I upscaled number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That one resulted in that post, and then we clicked web and it took us to that thing which was over here, and then you could go to the parent from there. But if you're in here, as I said, you can click above, and we do that, go to the parent, and here I did that already, and we're on this post, this parent post, but we can notice that we can go up to its parent, but we weren't able to here because it doesn't show it. So that's important to know, and that's why I'm showing you that here in this video about navigating Midjourney in Discord. So now if we want to see the parent of this one, just click here, it continues up. There's no parent of that one, at least it won't show me one, because there isn't one, or it's because if you use the show command with a job ID, then it can basically create a new post, and then that new post isn't the same as the original post of the actual job ID. So I'm going to show you a different way to get to that thing, and of course how to get the job ID in the first place, and the seed as well if you want it. So yeah, I don't think this one has a parent because I just created this today. This is the text prompt. That's the image prompt right there. That's a link, right? I uploaded an image previously. Yeah, I uploaded an image, and then that link is to the image, and that's in there, and it takes that into account. And then you'll see in another example, which I'll probably just show you in a separate video, that if you include the image or don't include it, of course you'll get a different result. And you can it's Alicia Rep. And also, if you can include multiple images if you want to. Okay, so as we were saying, there's things about like the job ID and the seed and stuff like that. So first of all, we'll do job ID. Okay, it doesn't say here to copy the job ID, right? You can just copy message link, but that's just like a link you can put in the browser that takes you to this post, right? And you can't go to the web because we haven't upscaled yet, so you'd have to upscale one. And if you don't want to upscale one of these, but you're like, oh, I like one of them, like say for example this one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 3. So say we want to make variations of that. We don't want to just upscale it, make it larger. We'd rather see variations of it, so ones that are similar. So that's kind of steering it, because we're choosing which one to make more, to generate more variations of. And that's building that family tree. Okay, so variations of 3. That's what you can do. If you upscale it, then you'll get a post that you can, like this, right? Then you'll get a post that you could click web and get to, and then you would be able to see it in here. So when you're on this page, we can do it even from here, or from you can do this on any of them, right? So click the 3 dots and then copy the job ID. Yeah, see, we can't get that from here with a grid. In a way you can actually though, because this is another thing you got to do, right? Click on the image, open in browser. You don't have to do this, but you can, right? Because I was showing you already how you could download multiple images. That's just to save time. So if you're looking at one image, click open in browser like I just did here, and then you can go Control S, right, to save it, and just save the image. Okay, so then that image file, in the file name, it will then have the job ID. So that's another way to get it, because all the images you save, and you may save them using, like we said, you know, get a zip, and then you'll have all those files. You can then just open up the zip or unzip it, and then those files, those file names will then have the job ID in them, which is great because then you can track it back and get to it. So here's how you'd use that. There's the job ID. Okay, Midjourney website. See the app. You have to put jobs though, and there you can see one filled in. But we got to put our job ID there. So midjourney.com/app/jobs and your job ID. And so that'll just take you to the same page. That'll take you here. This is, yeah, the same one. As you can see, that's the same thing, so that's what will load there. Okay, so that's cool, because when you save them, then you have a link to get back to them. But then something weird will happen if you use show, which is why I'm then not recommending it. Because if you say show and put that job ID in, it will then make a post and show it, and that's fine. You can use that, right, for convenience. But instead, if you go to the website and you go to that specific one, then you'll have that page, then you'll have that page open. Okay, now I've really messed it up here. It's a live demo. I must have clicked something to make that reading list show up, which I don't use. Yeah, that was that sidebar thing there. Okay, but now we're on a different one. It was just one that was already in there. Okay, but you already saw that it worked to go to this one, so that's how it works. And that's what I recommend doing, basically. You can use show too, but then it will then mess you up later, because for some reason it will refer, lately it will then refer to the latest post rather than the older post. So when we go here and open this one up in Discord, for some reason it then jumped to the later one when I said show this job ID, but before it would have gone to the first one. So I don't need to use show. I can just, as I just showed you, just put the thing in there with that. That part there is the prefix. You just add the job ID. Yeah, you go to that page and you can do whatever you want from there. See, there's also related images, so you can explore, and we'll look at that when we're talking about different styles and looking in the community feed for inspiration and like styles that you might want to use or modify from. So here we go like this, right? On this one, or you go to the parent or whatever, you can scroll around. On any of them, you can open it in Discord. So that will then get you a link like this, and it will let you interact with it through Discord, but in your browser, but it behaves the same way as when you're doing that over here. So it's all good. These are the result of when I clicked variations of number 3. I think we clicked variation of 3 on a thing that got us this. See, if we click up here, anywhere here, that'll be the parent of that one. So it's going to jump all the way back up there. See, I clicked V3 of this one. So now you can see, look at this image here, right? Memorize it a little bit, and then we'll jump back down to the original message. See, I'm showing you about navigating it, and there we go. This is the one that was just generated. That's the latest thing, and they're variations of that image. Yeah, so those 4 there. And then if you want to upscale one of them, you can do that like that, or any of them, right? Or make variations. And I'm in remix mode. I guess we won't really go into that too much because I was talking about navigating it, so we don't want to go to, because if you try to explain how to do everything, then you'll see that it will just expand into like hours of video. So it's simpler not to get into that. Yeah, I was just going to mention remix mode or not, but don't worry about that. Okay, so there's a new one, right? Here it is. And then if you want to save it, you can just kind of let it load and then save it like that. Okay. I think I may have showed you what I want to show you in navigating it. So we're talking about, yeah, I'll show you one more thing, because we're doing navigating Discord and Midjourney, right? So let's just, so yeah, as we said, you log into Discord, you go to the direct messages with the Midjourney bot, and that's where you use it. And on the website, you go to midjourney.com and log in, right, with your Discord already connected, and you'll authorize, and then you'll be able to be in your account. So then you click on Explore, and we look at the community feed, and then I would recommend like top, although there won't be a lot of options there. As you can see, that's, yeah, I think it's very limited. So top, like most voted of all time, or recently with the latest version or something like that. So I would look at everything except new. So like the top ones, and rising and hot. I guess hot, I guess top, and then hot, and then rising would be the order. Working down, descending priority order. So then you can look for styles of something that you want to emulate. And then, like for example this, because we're making portraits, right? Like a future self portrait, or whatever you're creating. But if you maybe you want to do it in a kind of anime or cartoon style like that. So then if you're looking at that, you can see here's the prompt and also the arguments. So you go here and copy the full command, which includes the prompt and the arguments. Okay, so here I've just pasted that so you can see it, and then whatever you want to draw it of, like say the person, put that in there. Like combine part of the prompt being the style, and then the other part what you want to show. Yeah, that's this thing here. Okay, so then whatever you want to show, like this man and the link, right? That's what I have with my, so that's what I have with some experiments. So you might do that, for example. That's what I tried recently when I had different ideas of like making something based on my photo. So the link is a photo of myself, right, which is this photo up here. It's not actually that. This is a resulting image, but the photo that I based it on is this one right here. I took a selfie, and then that's a result, right? And I based it on that style there. So that's an example of doing that. Because here's the prompt that the person that created this thing, that was the prompt they had, and I copied that and then changed it from an elephant head to something else. Yeah, see, a man's head instead of an elephant head. Okay, and this is a result, but it's not the instant immediate result, that's after a few iterations. Okay, so over here, if we want to do that, we can do that. I won't do it right now because we'll go into that in a different video. So you would just put in the description, like what I have, like I showed you one example, something like that. See, like these, see it says yeah, a painting of King Henry VIII by, this is the artist, the painter that actually painted it. I just googled this to find it out, right? And I put that in there. That looks like the man in this photo, right? And I've done the same thing here, like an angel of light with a sword of truth and a breastplate of righteousness, right? So this man as whatever, or as a character in The Great Gatsby, or whatever. So that's what I was doing here. So you could do that. That would be the prompt you could put in. You're combining the style with that thing. So of course we can try that. So imagine, I click tab there once that thing loaded, or you click on that thing which was imagine, that command, and then just paste it in. So that's one way I could write it, and another way would be like I did at the beginning. So there's kind of a prompt in here like this, right? So I've got this text prompt of how I've described me. So here's one way I did it. So now we'd be combining that with that other one, which was that style, that cartoon style, right? So it's like this part here. That's what their thing was. We're just combining it. If we then say, well, it's just like saying that this is a cartoon style. We can combine it in different ways. You can just put this whole thing in right here, although it doesn't have that link, so we want that link too. And when I put this in originally, I just put the link at the beginning. So there's an extra T. I don't think there's any problem there. Okay, so we can do it like this if we want. Or we can say that it's like a cartoon style palette knife painting, like that. I could put that part there. You could try whatever you want and try different ways and experiment with them. Okay. So yeah, that's just showing, making two different ways of writing the prompt. Because in one of them I said this man, and it's the one in the photo, and in this one I described myself. I said a handsome young man, age 38, wearing a heavy gold chain. We also have the color. I said with hazel eyes, hazel colored eyes, wearing a heavy gold chain. So I added those variations, and that's the result of this one there. Okay, so then you can see the difference in using those two prompts. One just said this man and had the link, right? And then the other one, I describe myself more, and the better you describe it in a way, the better, as long as you are describing accurately. Okay, so that's what happened with that. It's quite a bit different, right? And then I'll just point out another thing, is that it will take multiple steps, because if you want it to really be cartoon, you probably have to take the link out. So just as an example, and we may do iterations, like of making variations of them, and then continue doing that same thing for a while, and then remove the link. But here I'll just remove the link right away. So let's just use, okay, let's use number 3 for example here. So I've got remix mode on, which means that when I do variations, then I have a chance to edit the prompt. But if remix mode was off, I wouldn't. It would just simply go ahead and do it with the same prompt. So we're taking out the link now. There. So it won't have, yeah, there was actually a typo too, as you can see there, because the space was missing between world class and cartoon. Okay, so I've removed the link, right? So now that will make it more of the cartoon style, although I said that it's a stunning, award-winning, world-class cartoon-style palette knife oil painting. So we've added cartoon to the other description. So, of course, if we did it differently, right, we would have, you know, create this thing. I think this is what we had before, but then we will not have the palette knife thing in there. So it's going to be like a kind of cartoon. I'll just have cartoon style oil painting, or cartoon style painting, or you could make it like an illustration, or you could just say that it's cartoon. Okay. Okay, cartoon style art, then I'll do it like that. Because remember, we're basing it on that style there, not this thing, but that style there. Okay, so I'm gonna do it like that. That's another way that you could try it. And see, now that we've given it a minute, here's this result. So that was from doing a variation of 3 and taking the link out, because then it can, it's using the description that I have, right? And the style that we say that we want, and it's not using my photo anymore, so it drifts farther away from the photo. And we got stylize on there, right? The higher that is, the farther it will go away from what you describe, and in an artistic way. So so of course then it will look less like me because we took the image out, and because we have cartoon style and palette knife, then it's combining them, right? But if we just use, let's go with like number 4, I guess, or 2, it doesn't matter, you can use any of them. I'll just take out part of that, so it'll still say cartoon, but then we will not have the oil painting thing in there, right? Doesn't have to be perfect either. Okay, it's very forgiving. This was the new thing we got. Well, it was still generating it, but it's basically just finished. That was the new thing where we took out the palette knife and we're just saying cartoon style, right? But we still have the photo in it. So once it generates that, and then we do a variation of that without the like, I don't want it to have glasses, and most of them have it, so it'd only be this one, but I like this one better than that one if this one didn't have glasses, right? So we'll actually go with this one here, right? So a variation of that, and then if I take out the photo, it's not basing it on that photo anymore. The photo won't have an influence, but you can add it back in also. You can have multiple images in there, or none, or whatever. Okay, so there, anyway, you got a kind of example there of navigating with it. And if you want to see like where did these come from, go back to the parent and so on, and the parent of this, and there we are. It doesn't go any farther up, right? I already showed you that, so I think we've got everything. And if you have any other questions, then just ask me. Thanks for watching.